Fiat 500 is small. The Fiat 500L is big. The Fiat 500L MPW, therefore, well, it's pretty ruddy huge. The largest member of the 500 range, the MPW squeezes in an extra row of seats in the back by extending the body over the rear axle. As a result, it's the only 500 with 7 seats, and Fiat is hoping to appeal to large families who need MPV-style practicality in a slightly less van-like package. Like the standard 500L, it comes with a practical but not unstylish interior, with a chunky steering wheel and logically laid out controls that are easy to reach. You won't get anywhere near the range of options available with the smaller 500, but kit's still good with cruise control, dual zone climate control and an electric sunroof. Our test model also comes with a rear parking camera for an extra £270, along with an upgrade for the infotainment system that adds on DAB digital radio and a TomTom sat-nav. Useful it may be, but at £500 it's an expensive option. And the fact that the touchscreen is so tiny, measuring in at a pretty dismal 5 inches, means that it's pretty fiddly to use. We're also not too keen on the designs of the seats, but they are comfortable, particularly if you specify them with lumbar adjustments. For anybody who's wondering, the MPW stands for multi-purpose wagon, and Fiat emphasises the practical nature of the car with a sliding second row bench that can be used to balance load space and passenger room. Legroom and headroom in the second row are decent, but realistically there's only enough room in the back seats for small children, and they'll also set you back an additional £700. If you'd rather, you can have the 500L MPW with just 5 seats and a massive storage space instead, but the occasional seating does fold flat into the boot floor and is easy to raise and lower. Boot space clocks in at a maximum of 1,708 litres with all the seats folded down, 400 more than the shorter 500L, meaning this is one of the most practical MPVs in the sector. Practical it most definitely is. Entertaining to drive, well, not so much. If you had to sum up the 500L MPW's performance in a word, it would probably just be, well, practical. It's noisy, the steering's vague, and the brakes are so grabby that they work more like an on-off switch, but what it does lack in performance, it more than makes up for in comfort. Like the standard 500L, it rides on 17-inch alloy wheels and a pleasant suspension that soaks up most of what the road can throw at it. Just don't push it too hard into a corner though, or you might find it struggling for grip. It is a little on the gruff side, but the 118 brake horsepower 1.6 litre diesel does make a good motorway cruiser, particularly with the inclusion of a 6th gear. If an easy ride is what you want, then the 500L MPW is capable and relaxed. Just don't expect an overly sporty performance and you won't be disappointed. If you are in the market for something a little more lively though, the Ford B-Max is a much better option. Prices for the basic Popstar trim start at £18,380, while the lounge model that we're testing starts from £21,120. It's pricier than rivals like the Kia Carens, which offers the same 7-seat capacity and also undercuts it by around £1,000, but for your money you do get significantly more load space. The Fiat is also cheaper to run than the Carens, with fuel economy of nearly 62 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of just 120 grams per kilometre, which might just tip the scales in its favour in the long term, while its residual value also holds slightly better than the Kia. Whether you like the styling or loathe it, there's no denying that the Fiat 500L MPW is certainly practical, even if it shares none of the compactness or nippiness that first made the 500 a household name. It is slightly pricier than many of its rivals up front, but no doubt Fiat fans will be prepared to pay for it, and its running costs are also a lot more attractive in the long run. But what do you think of the Fiat 500L MPW? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. To research your next car and find great deals, visit carkeys.co.uk, and to watch more reviews, click on the links on screen now.